Joe, the New York Knicks owner James Dolan, in a rare radio interview, says the Knicks can win the NBA Finals as constructed. I say we want to get to the finals, and we should win the finals. This is sports. Anything can happen. Getting to the finals, we absolutely have to do. Winning the finals, we should do. Look how far we got with our group last year, and look at who's playing and who wasn't. We're going into the second half of the season. Josh Hart is still out. Landry Shamet is coming back. We got depth. We stay healthy. We'll get into the playoffs in a much better condition than last year. Joe, do you believe the Knicks, as currently constructed, can get to and win the NBA championship?
I think they can get to the finals, Uncle Ocho. You know, like the key word is that he said was staying healthy. Yep. You know, you got to stay healthy, man. The playoffs is a different atmosphere. It's a different pace and game. Guys playing extra hard. So, you know, you got to stay healthy, but at the same time, man,
If you just listened to that clip, you heard the two words that define every Knicks championship conversation for the last 25 years. If healthy. James Dolan says this team, as constructed, can win a title. ISO Joe says they can get to the finals if they stay healthy. And right there, in that tiny conditional phrase, is the entire brutal reason this championship hype might be built on a foundation of sand. Let's be clear, I love this Knicks team. Jalen Brunson is a legitimate MVP candidate. The defense, with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, is elite. The depth is real. But talking about a championship requires us to move past hopeful ifs and look at the cold, hard math of the modern NBA. And that math tells a very different story. First, the health argument is a trap. Every contender's dream is predicated on health. The Celtics need Tatum and Brown. The Thunder need Shea and Chet. But for the Knicks, the injury history isn't a hypothetical. It's a recent, painful fact. We watched them get dismantled last postseason because their rotation was held together by tape. To assume a fully healthy run now is to ignore the wear and tear of an 82-game season and the war of attrition that is the Eastern Conference playoffs. Banking on perfect health isn't a strategy, it's a prayer. Second, and more importantly, let's talk about the talent gap. James Dolan says, look how far we got with our group last year. Exactly. They reached the Eastern Conference semifinals and lost. The teams that have moved past that stage, Boston, who just reloaded, Milwaukee with Giannis and Lillard, even the rising young cores in Orlando and Indiana, have not stood still. The Knicks improved by adding Mikal Bridges, a fantastic two-way player. But did they add a top 10 NBA talent? Did they acquire the kind of transcendent playoff riser that you need to win 4 series against elite competition? The answer is no. They got better, but the teams ahead of them might have gotten more better. This brings us to the core delusion, confusing being really good with being a championship team. The Knicks are built to be a nightmare matchup. They are tough, defensive-minded, and have a superstar guard who fears no moment. That is a recipe for winning a playoff series, even 2. But a championship requires you to have an answer for Jason Tatum for 7 games. It requires you to have a counter for Giannis Antetokounmpo's physical dominance. It requires a level of shot-making and shot creation that can survive when defenses lock in. Do the Knicks have a second consistent high-level creator after Brunson? Julius Randle can be that, but his playoff history is checkered. Mikal Bridges is an elite connector, not a primary engine. The uncomfortable truth the hype avoids is this. The Knicks' current construction has a ceiling. It's a very high ceiling, perhaps the Eastern Conference Finals. But to break through that ceiling and into the finals, they likely need another seismic move. They need that true second star to pair with Brunson. The Donovan Mitchell chatter exists for a reason. The links to other big names persist because the roster, as beloved as it is, still feels one piece short of tipping from contender to favorite. So when Dolan and the analysts talk about if healthy, what they're really saying is, we need everything to go perfectly. In the NBA, nothing ever goes perfectly. The teams that win are the ones built to withstand chaos, to have multiple answers, and to possess that top-tier talent that rises when the game slows down in May and June. I love the Knicks vibe. I love their identity. But love isn't enough to win a title. you need overwhelming force. And until they either make that final major addition or one of their current stars makes an unprecedented leap into the top 5-player conversation, the championship talk feels like hope winning a battle against logic. But what do you think? Am I being too harsh? Is this Knicks squad, with its defense and depth, truly built differently than past teams? Or is the one piece away feeling still the reality? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more unfiltered NBA analysis, make sure to subscribe.